Boom. Boom. We're live, everybody. Hey, how are you? It's Peter Clark, Red TV in Conversation. I'm Peter Clark, and that's Red TV in Conversation. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for joining me today. I so appreciate you being here on Red TV. All dressed up, somewhere to go. All dressed up and somewhere to go. Really appreciate you being here, everybody. Thanks for joining me on the show. We are streaming everywhere. You get zeros and ones on your router. You're on LinkedIn Live, especially LinkedIn Live. That's who our audience is mostly today. We're also on YouTube and other platforms as well. But hey, thanks for being here. So appreciate it. As we go along here, this show's a little different than normal, so I'll get into that in a second. But here, I just want to do a quick little plug for a couple things here. Look, I never promote myself very well, but I'm going to do it right now. Hey, if you like what you see here, please share with your network. Please share this. Go to your network and say, hey, I watched that guy. I kind of like that guy. So like the show, and please share it with your people. Here's something I never plugged, but I'm going to plug it right now. Watch this. Boom. I'm just going to do it right now. Hey, I got a little radio station. Did you know that? I bet you did not know that. Little digital radio station, 347 The Juice. And so love having great conversation and music and all those kinds of things. So right there, you see a little scan, a little QR code in the my hand right there in the graphic. Yeah. Just scan that. I'll wait. Go ahead. Scan it with your phone right now, and you can download the app called Live 365, and then look for 347, The Juice. That's it. That's all you have to do. Scan it and do that. Or watch this little technology here. I'm going to try this right now. Right up in my corner there. See right above my head? Yeah. You can click right there right now, and the actual radio station will show up directly on your phone as we speak this very second. So there you go. I'm going to leave it right there. Just wanted to get that little plug in there because I never do that. I don't know why I don't do that enough. I got to get better at promoting myself. I'm not very good at promoting myself. So appreciate you joining this show. This show is a little different. Normally I bring people on and we talk about a whole bunch of different things. And today we're going to talk about introducing a brand new show that's going to be coming on LinkedIn, LinkedIn Live. And I'm really excited about it because, of course, I don't know, we're just in kind of really weird times these days. And I think we just need some clarity. And I love working with people who can bring some insight and just bring some calmness to the world here, to our own little world. That's what we're doing. So I'm really excited for this guy who's joining me. That good looking fellow over there, right there. I think there's some people joining us right now as well. I want to make sure. Hey, Melody, good to see you. I appreciate you from Massachusetts tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. So appreciate that. And 𝘄𝗶𝘁𝗵 Williamson, good to see you. Always good to see you. Sarnia, had you guys in the news recently. I heard all about that. So there you go. So glad you're here with me. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. You're always supporting what we do here on Red TV. I was going to say 347 The Juice, but you do that too. I'm excited right now because we have this really cool guy right here. My guest today is Todd Hirsch, and he's a lot of things. He's a lot of things. He's an internationally respected economist. He's a keynote speaker and author, a 3-time TEDx speaker, one of Canada's most trusted voices when it comes to economic disruption and things like that, leading us through uncertainty. And he has spent decades helping leaders and organizations across North America, really, just to make sense of the world that just feels right now a little bit unpredictable. Wouldn't you agree? And a little volatile. And for me, to be frank with you, it's a little overwhelming. It's just a little overwhelming at times. And what makes Todd's work so compelling for me is that he doesn't just focus on predicting things. A lot of economists just come on and talk about those kinds of things, but he talks about preparing for whatever kind of comes our way. And instead of trying to guess things, just try to prepare for what's coming our way in this really rapidly changing times in the world. So I'm really excited because today what we're going to do, we're going to introduce a brand new show, a new live LinkedIn Live show called The Take with Todd Hirsch and Gitane De Silva. So we're going to be talking about that as well. And it's going to be a weekly live, a LinkedIn Live conversation. And it's designed to help people sort of, unpack the things that are happening economically and geopolitically, and to help people understand why it matters to them. I think that's what we're always wondering is like, how does this matter? Does this even matter to me at all? And yes, it does. And we're going to talk about that in a second. Would you please welcome Mr. Todd Hirsch? How are you?
Hey, Peter, I'm fantastic. How are you? You're always upbeat. I love your energy.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well, hey, we're trying to connect with people, and I must say I really enjoy doing LinkedIn Live, and that's why I appreciate you joining me here today. And we're going to talk about your upcoming show, because normally on my shows, Todd, I normally chat with people and we get into some pretty interesting stuff, like in the sense of a little bit about their backgrounds and all that kind of fun stuff, and personal stuff and things like that. But today we're going to focus on the show. So for those that have normally tuned into my show, I appreciate it. But we're going to talk about this upcoming show because I'm really excited about it. I think Todd is going to bring some great insights into the world around us, and then help us understand these kinds of things, and do it in a way that's really human, and those kinds of things. So Todd, I just wanted to, what we'll start with, my good friend, is because this to my audience, and maybe to even some of the people that know you a little bit. Let's start with, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put up your website and just kind of scroll through that a little tiny bit. But in the meantime, while I'm doing that, why don't you explain a little bit about who you are, and a little bit about yourself, so to put it into context as to what we're sharing today. Tell us a little bit about yourself for those who probably don't know you.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned in the introduction, I'm an economist. I've worked as a professional economist for over 30 years, which is a bit startling, actually, when I think about that. When I started out as an economist in the early 1990s, the world was a very, very different place, and it seemed like a simpler place. But I've been an economist for a long time. I've worked in the research department at the Bank of Canada. Most recently, I served as the chief economist at ATB Financial, which is a regional bank based here in Alberta, Canada. And now I am on my own as a professional speaker. And also, as you mentioned, these days I am not so much into forecasting what's going to happen. I believe we live in an unforecastable world. It's not that economists are getting sloppy with the math, but the world just changes too quickly and too radically. So rather than putting together a lot of forecasts based on econometric work, I help audiences and readers and listeners prepare for all of the things that could be coming our way, because we just don't know.
You're so right. And again, even for my audience and the people that normally tune into my shows, like one thing I don't do a lot of, Todd, is talk about the economy and the political things that are happening and how they're all intertwined and so on. But let's face it, we're on LinkedIn and we're all here talking about business and connecting with people, and economics and geopolitics and all that kind of stuff affects everybody every single day of our lives. And I know that I follow it actually quite closely. I do a lot of my own research and those kinds of things. And I think we all do, but maybe we're just, again, not being able to sometimes make sense of it all because we're getting so much information pushed towards us. So I appreciate what you just said. Here, I just want to show where everybody you can get, this is the website. Everybody, you can go to toddhirsch.com and learn more about him as a professional speaker, and he's much sought after. So I just caught him. Actually, you just flew back yesterday, did you not? You did. You just flew back yesterday.
I was in Toronto doing a keynote to an audience there, and got back last night and back in Calgary this morning.
Fantastic. And here's how you can connect with Todd on LinkedIn. It's basically the Todd Hirsch when you do all that. And as he said, he's an economist and a keynote speaker and so on. So again, I really appreciate us having this conversation because, again, I really do. I think it's so important. So let's just jump right to some of the things that the purpose of today is really to talk about your upcoming show. Let's talk about, the show itself. Just tell a little bit about the take.
We're not going to be talking about high top running shoes, which I know a lot of people are probably looking at the backdrop.
I still like it.
Well, it is a good backdrop. My office has turned into a shoe museum, but the show itself, the take, is we're not going to talk about running shoes. Well, who knows, we might. But we are going, my guest host, my regular guest host, Gitane De Silva, is one of the smartest people I know on geopolitics. This is a person who spent her career as a diplomat. She was Alberta's trade representative in Chicago. She worked in Washington for many years as Alberta's sort of consulate representative in Washington, D.C., has worked all over the world. She understands the geopolitics, which is something that I'm actually not a specialist in. My area is economics. So that's why I chose Gitane as my sort of regular guest host. We're going to be breaking down every week the things that are going on in the global economy, which of course are shaped by geopolitics, especially these days with the war in the Middle East, the war in Ukraine, a lot of the things going on between the United States and tariffs. And I mean, there's just no end of things to talk about. So she and I, we're going to break down each Friday morning. We're going to break down the events of the week and give our take, hence the name, The Take, on what's going on and what it means for you.
I love this because everything you're describing is me, to be frank with you. And I think a lot of us are secretly like that. We read the headlines. We try to not get overwhelmed with it. If you're an empath and you're sensitive to energy in the world, obviously this stuff is very, very sensitive, but we can't escape. We cannot escape it. It's part of our daily language. It's part of our daily living and so on. And I know that a lot of us want to learn more about it, but don't want to be hammered with just the headlines and even, all these things that are very politically charged. So one side or the other and so on. And I like the idea that you're going to try to walk that path, which is important, the nonpartisan stuff, which is hard to do. Let's talk very quickly about why now. Why do you think it's important now? Why do you feel it's the right time to launch this conversation with people? I know you're hearing a lot from people out in the world.
Well, I mean, as I think everyone agrees, 2026, there are just so many things going on, and it is easy to get overwhelmed by it. You referenced that a little earlier, that sometimes, you yourself, I think everyone, we are bombarded with 24-hour news, and it's easy sometimes to be overwhelmed, to get anxious about it. But what I hope to do with The Take is sort of break it down, bring in some Stoic philosophy that says, don't give the energy to the things you can't control. You focus and give energy to the things you can control. So that sort of brings the temperature down a little bit. We can't ignore what's going on, and we don't want to ignore what's going on, but we also don't need to panic and light our hair on fire every time, something happens, or every time there's breaking news, or every time there's a post on social media about something. Rather than panicking, we're going to try to understand what's going on and be calm about it. I think that's what The Take is about. And that's why we need it now in 2026, maybe more than ever.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, a little shout out from Laurel Russell.
Oh, Laurel, that's my sister.
Oh, there you go.
Tuning in from Red Deer, Alberta. Amazing. Hi, Laurel.
There you go. My spouse just left for Red Deer right now. She's just on her way up to Red Deer now for a business thing.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, there you go. Todd is amazing. There you go. Yes, he is. He's going to be absolutely. And I think you already have a couple people reaching out to you to connect with you. Their 𝘂𝗏, she just sent you a request there, Todd. So we're going to expand this conversation across the country. And even though, again, we're based out in the West, but I mean, everything that we're talking about now affects Canada. Our backyard, the world, everything. And
the show, Gitane and I are really going to avoid being too regional about anything. Yeah, we're both based here in Calgary, but we want to be talking to an audience across the country, across North America. So we unless it is something really pertaining to a regional breaking news event, but we'll avoid talking about regional specific issues as much as we can.
I get it. So let's talk about that. Who's this for? Who's this show for? Again, we're talking about a little bit of everybody, is it not? I mean, I think our core audience would easily, be business leaders, thought leaders, those kinds of people. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my reaction is, well, it's for everybody, but they say, especially as a book writer or as a public speaker, if you are talking to everyone, you're really talking to no one. Ooh, so it isn't quite right to say the show is for everyone. I would say it is for people who are interested and passionate in what's going on in the world. Maybe business leaders or thought leaders, or those who are making some decisions that might affect other people. Especially if they are in, the business community. And also, I think just for concerned citizens, citizens who, want to do good in their economy, in their community, but don't always know how all of these things are playing out and how they're affecting them. I think those are the people that 𝘄𝗶𝘃 and I really want to be talking to.
Well, that is everybody, and I agree with you that everyone can find something that connects. We can connect our own story, our own personal story, to things that are being driven by economics and politics. Because sometimes, again, those words might throw people into a particular mindset, but it's really just this. It's conversation about. I mean, literally. Literally, I have 1,000 questions I could ask you right now that we could dive into, as you know, because we've talked once or twice privately, and again, there's just so many things that affect us personally, and we want to expand on those things, and finding a safe place to do that, especially these days and on LinkedIn, is hard to do. So I'm hoping that people will recognize that you can find a little bit of something in here for you. Why do you think it matters, Todd? Why do you think that matters right now, that people are feeling like they can reach into like a Friday show and connect with you? Why
I think it matters because in a lot of ways we are losing some human connection. And this is the thing that, as an economist, sort of keeps me up at night, is how is social media dividing people? How is it isolating people? We live in a world, we talk a lot about we're all so divided. I actually think that we're more united on almost everything. We tend to focus maybe a little too much on the things that maybe divide us, some of the political things, some of the social things, cultural. But in fact, I think by and large, there's far more that unites us. And having a conversation like this, talking about things in the economy and in geopolitics, I think will help us understand, in fact, that we have a lot more in common as human beings, and our values and priorities, focusing on those things rather than just sort of focusing only on the things that divide us.
Yeah, it's so easy. I know when I speak to people, whether it's here on LinkedIn or even when I do my radio show, which is all audio, but I still have engaging conversation with people through text, and sometimes I call them and have them reach. We jump on a call and actually physically speak. Again, I speak to people right across, like you said. Let's use just North America as the example. We're so affected by the same things, and we're so concerned about the same things. And there's so many things that actually connect us more than divide us. And you're absolutely right. Social media has a way of reminding us of maybe some of the bad things. But boy, I can tell you, there's a lot of good things happening out there as well. And we all have very similar concerns. So that's why I like that perspective that you just talked about. What do you think about the tone of the show? I want people to, like I said, we mentioned, the idea of economics and politics. I certainly don't. Yeah. What do you think the tone?
Well, a lot of times when people hear those words, economics and politics, they're already, they're ready to tune out almost from the get-go, because those words sometimes sound very intimidating to them. People say, I don't really understand economics, or I'm not political. But we want the show to be very much at the human level, talking about those issues that affect each one of us. So even though 𝘄𝗶𝘃 particularly is a very intelligent woman on the details of geopolitics, we're going to keep the conversation. We're going to keep our conversation very conversational, making sure that we are not talking above anyone. I hate it when people say, you're good at dumbing it down for us, because people aren't dumb, but people do need to be spoken to in a language and in words that are accessible and that they can understand. So I think that's going to be the tone of it. I actually hope to have some fun with it as well, even though the economy and geopolitics can feel like a really heavy subject at times. I think there is always opportunity for some levity. And at the end of the show, each episode, 𝘄𝗶𝘃 and I also kind of want to ask each other, what is on your mind right now? And that's where we might get into some personal stuff. 𝘄𝗶𝘃 talking about her kid graduating from high school this week, just kind of those really human events that sort of aren't relative to the economy or geopolitics, but that are on top of our minds, because I know they're going to be on the minds of a lot of people.
Absolutely. I mean, and there's that connection that the human connection you just talked about is that, while we may have these conversations and talk about these things and be on LinkedIn and talking business, and then how, again, economics and politics and money, all that stuff intertwine with each other. At the end of the day, it's people going home to their families. They have birthdays, they have graduations, they have hockey tournaments,
Yeah.
and we're out volunteering in our communities. We're out living our lives. And that's the tie-in that I like. I like the idea of, like, how does this affect me? How can I use this information to be positively effective in my community and in the world in general? So I love that approach to it.
Yeah.
The whole idea.
I talk a lot in my presentations these days about human connection being really the most important piece of the economy. If we want a strong economy, we have to focus on human connection. All of the other things that we talk about, tax rates and trade deals and stock markets and all of those things, they're important, but they're really peripheral to at the very center of the economy, which is human connection. The economy is really just about humans interacting. Somebody needs something to fulfill a need. Somebody is selling something. A market is formed at its base level. Everything else is just detail that we surround it with on the economy, and politics the same way. So we need to focus. If we want a strong economy, we want strong geopolitics, we have to focus on human connection, because that is what upholds all of it.
I love it. I love it. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, these are the same conversations I have with people from all around the world, and it's like you said, we might touch on the peripheral of what's affecting them, and it's always something that's in the headlines. But we, again, we are sometimes uncomfortable speaking to those. But like you said, it's human connection. That's what we're trying to do here. So I love. What do you think you want? I want to, for people that are going to tune in, and we're going to try to make this show as, like you said, as engaging as possible. And at the same time, you want them to take away something. So, excuse the pun, take away. But what do you want them to take away? What would you want someone who's going to tune in? What would you want them to take away from this show?
Well, I mean, ideally, I'd like them to come away feeling more optimistic about what's happening. But the fact is that there are a lot of really troubling things going on. And it really doesn't help us if we are just overly optimistic and rose-colored glasses. Even though there are some heavy things happening, if we can't be optimistic, I hope that we come away at least understanding the situation a little bit better. Because anytime there is fear, it's usually because of a lack of understanding. People don't understand what's happening, and that gives rise to fear. And in the worst case scenarios, fear gives rise to anger and violence. And we really don't want any of that. So the more Gitane and I can help people understand what's going on, it brings the anxiety level down, the fear level comes down, and people can walk away and start their weekend feeling a little more balanced, a little more calm. Even though these situations, they don't go away, they're still swirling around us. But if we have a better understanding of what's driving them, we can all come away feeling a little calmer, a little more, just a little more balance going into the weekend.
Yeah, I like the timing of it. I agree with you on that. There's something about what, you live your business week, if you will, assuming a business week for some people or most people is Monday to Friday. I know a lot of people obviously have all kinds of different hours for their business, but if you traditionally think Monday to Friday, by Friday, people are pretty kind of worn and tired. They have a perspective of the week that just passed, and now you're going into the weekend where your brain can relax a little tiny bit. So maybe having some reference to what some of these
maybe even, building on the human connection. Hopefully over weekends, people have a bit more time to slow down, a bit more time to spend with their friends and their family and their loved ones. And I'm hoping that, what they hear on the take can actually spark some conversations that they might want to have with their friends and family. The things about the economy and geopolitics, maybe a new insight or maybe a new idea that they hadn't heard of. Listening to the take Friday morning and then going into the weekend, building those human connections and maybe using some of the ideas that they heard on this show to spark some meaningful, some deep conversations.
I couldn't agree with you more. I love it. I think the timing is perfect, and so does your sister. There you go. Hey, listen, if your family can't be your best friends, come on, right?
And there's my sister. You see her with her camera. She, by the way, is an incredible photographer. If anyone in central Alberta or anywhere in the province needs a photographer, a little pitch for you there, Laurel.
There you go, little pitch. We can always use a good photographer. You know, it's funny because as a videographer, as a person who creates videos and stuff, I get asked, and I know your sister will appreciate this. I get asked a lot. They say, "Hey, you got a camera? Take a picture of it. Can you take a picture of me?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not a photographer." And they're like, "But you got a camera." I'm like, no. There's expertise in being a great photographer. I know she'll agree with that. You can, some people who can make video, and some people can do both, but not me anyway. So good on her. There's the plug right there. If you're in Red Deer, you need a photographer right there. Well, listen, Todd, I appreciate us doing this. I wanted it to be a quick little introduction to LinkedIn. I'm going to be working behind the scenes on the show with you, and
I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, I think again we can. There's so many things that we can explore. I mean, obviously we can take calls, we can bring people on board. There's lots of things that we're discussing as special guests and things that you can bring in. And like you said, try to make some fun of it as well, because have some fun, I should say, because again, the world's a little heavy at times, and I know for me, I'll speak for me. Just very sensitive to energy, and the things that we see on a regular basis is like every time you wake up or go to sleep, there's something being said that you're like, wow, what does that mean? And or maybe it's something that I should learn to put into context and those kinds of things. So I think what you guys are going to be doing with this show is going to be fantastic. So let's talk about the show itself, everybody. Here it is. Todd, let me put up a little ticker here. I have a ticker here somewhere. Here we go. I wish I had a good producer. First show, Friday. So we're going to do it on Friday, April 17th, 9 o'clock a.m. Mountain Time. So that's 8 Pacific and 11 Eastern across the LinkedIn network. Now we're going to be, it's going to be available on your LinkedIn profile, Todd. So we're going to work that out as well. So I want people to know that. It's not going to be on necessarily the Red TV Canada sort of network. We're going to try to make sure it stays focused on Todd and his network. So there you go. There is the LinkedIn profile for Todd, and that's where the Friday show will be hosted. Okay, everybody. So just so you know, that's where you'll tune in and connect with Todd. And of course, the whole another thing of this, I'll mention it because I know, Todd, you don't, because you're like, I think you're somewhat like me sometimes. We don't promote ourselves, but you're an amazing keynote speaker, and you're an author of, I think, 4 books. Am I not correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 books. TED Talk speaker, TEDx, you've done those as well. And again, you're well sought after in the sense of trying to make sense of all of these things. So I want people to understand, hey, go to his website, learn a little bit more about Todd, and an opportunity for you to connect with him. And maybe there's an opportunity to do some speaking and have him come into your organization to do that. So there's the plug. I know you won't do it, so I'm going to do it for you. But in the meantime, I'm looking forward to the show. I think we're going to have a little fun. You want to leave people with anything? Any last words before we hit Friday? Because we got a lot of work to do.
Well, I guess the last word I would leave with people is, when we're going through all of this craziness, this chaos that swirls around us, let's all be kind to each other. Tune in on Friday morning. You're going to hear about the things taking place, but we're also going to emphasize that human connection. It's going to be a great show, and I'm just so thankful, Peter, that you are steering this in the background for Gitane and I, because we couldn't do it without you.
That's very kind. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm trying to be a better receiver, Todd. So I appreciate that.
We all got to work on that, don't we?
We got to work on that. And I love what you just said. We didn't even talk about that, but I know that you always lead with that as well: kindness and compassion and empathy for people. This is why I like hearing your talks, and I've seen you several times live. There's always that human element that you talk about, and that's what we do here at Red TV. I mean, I always use that as a backdrop. That being kind and being compassionate with people, it's really easy to do. So I hope people will connect with that and connect with your show. So I'm excited, buddy. I'm excited for you.
I am too. I can't wait.
Yeah, we're going to have
until Friday morning.
Yeah, absolutely. So Friday, everybody. And yeah, here we go. She was just asking here. I just want to thank you, Melody, for asking, but she was going to ask how to watch. So it is going to be on Todd's LinkedIn profile. Okay. So I just want to make sure that I'm very clear on that, because I know people might be tuning in on my network and looking for that. So let me put that up one more time for you. Thank you, Melody.
The Todd Hirsch, which is really kind of awkward. I hate the hanging in there. It makes me feel like, one of these people that have a the in front of their name. The Hulk, or people like that. So it's the Todd Hirsch. That was the only LinkedIn thing that I could get. But
hey, listen, we listen.
Now no one will forget it. The Todd Hirsch.
The Todd Hirsch. I love it. The Todd Hirsch. So that'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it, my friend. I appreciate your time today. And
thanks,
I think
Peter.
we had some great interaction. Stick around. I'll come and see you after the show. And hey, everybody, just be kind out there, everybody.
Be kind, everyone.
All you got to do, you just got to be kind.
All you got to do.
Simple. All right, Todd, we'll see you on the other side, everybody else.
We will. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you all Friday morning.
We'll see you again, everybody. Just be kind out there. That's all you have to do. Just be kind out there. That's all you have to do. Just be kind out there, everybody. Just be kind. That's all you have to do. Just be kind out there, everybody. Hey, just be kind. You know the drill. Yeah, just be kind out there, everybody. Just be kind. Just be kind out there, everybody. That's all you have to do, right? Exactly. Just be kind out there, everybody.